things. It's going to make your plants more cold-hardy. They're going to take the cold temperatures, whatever we get better, and they're going to get off to a stronger start next spring. So your entire landscape, your entire garden, everything would benefit from an application of Medina's Grow and Green fertilizer. Totally organic, doesn't burn, and is it's just good for everything that grows. Might want to use a little bit of Medina's soil activator as well, just for the very best results. For over 50 years now, it's been Medina Agriculture.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, this is Bob Webster from my friends at Wild Birds Unlimited. For years, I've been telling you what a wonderful place Wild Birds Unlimited is out there on Northwest Military at Huebner Road. Well, they're still doing well, but the good news is they have a new location in Boerne as well. All you folks in the Hill Country won't have to drive all the way into San Antonio to find the wonderful service, the great knowledge, and all the wonderful products at Wild Birds Unlimited. Kyle and his staff out there have just virtually exactly the same thing they have in town, and they would love to have you come by. They're way out on North Main Street, north edge of Boerne, right there at Market Street. It's right next door to the 28 Songs Brew House and Kitchen, if you know where that is. Remember, they've got the same great feeders, the same great feed. They've got all of the things you need for birding and so much more. Wonderful, wonderful assortment of gifts out there. Carrying on the tradition Wild Birds Unlimited always has had. 2 locations to serve you now. Wild Birds Unlimited.
This is Martin Bomba's Rockin' Home Show
on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 106.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the Rockin' Home Show on AM 550, FM 1071, KTSA, KTSA.com, and Facebook Live. Yes, we are back on Facebook Live. If you were watching us there, I apologize for the connection issues, but I think that we've got them licked, and hopefully we'll have a eventless show here for the rest of the time.
You sure sound much better.
Okay, good. I honestly don't know what the heck was going on, but hopefully we got it all.
I'm almost positive it had to be something with the internet, maybe Cat 5 not plugged in right. I don't know, because it affected the Facebook and it affected your feed on the radio.
Yeah,
also.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got it licked. So. Thanks to those joining us on Facebook Live. Sorry for the inconvenience there, but I think that we've got it all fixed. Phone lines are open at 210-599-5555. We're going to be hitting some more points to help you seal up and winterize your home here in just a minute. But first, let's get to the phone lines at 210-599-5555. Let's go to Shirley. Shirley, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Martin and Jim. This is your favorite Facebook, Shirley.
Hey,
there we go. All
Shirley.
Right.
I have a question for you. I know we talked about preparing your pipes outside. I want to know about running water. Should you run hot and cold in a very thin stream, just cold, just hot?
No, just you can run just the cold water.
Okay.
As long as there's movement in the pipes. Inside the home, unless your home was really not insulated well, you shouldn't need to drip inside.
What you may want to do is open the cabinets underneath your sinks.
That's it. Open the cabinet doors and let the heat get under the cabinets. You should be fine. But if you do want to drip, maybe drip one cold and another one hot.
Okay. And you're saying drip, not stream.
Oh, yeah, drip. You don't even need a stream, just a drip.
Okay. Well, I have been opening the cabinets, but I have been streaming all the, very, very thin stream of water. But you're saying just one cold and one hot.
Yeah. That should work great.
Okay, very good. I sure enjoy your program, and thank you for taking my call, and we'll see you on Facebook.
All right, Shirley, thank you so much for calling.
Yes,
Nice
ma'am.
to hear from you. Nice to hear from you.
Thank you.
Phone lines are open, 210-599-5555. Good morning to Dylan. Hey, Dylan, thanks for checking us out this morning. And let's go to Jim. Jim, good morning. Welcome to the Rockin' Home Show.
Thank you. Good morning. You guys are awesome. Listen, I just turned the radio on, and I have two questions. One, I have already on the outside faucets in the front yard and in the backyard, I put that foam cup over it, okay? And my comment or question to you all, do I need to turn the water off in the front yard that night when it freezes?
No, never turn the water off to a section of the yard, because if you do that, there is no movement, and it's definitely going to freeze.
Yeah, if you're going to turn the water off, now listen, it's not bad to turn off the water to your sprinkler system as long as you drain and purge the sprinkler system.
Right.
If you do not drain and purge the sprinkler system, that could be a bad thing.
Yes.
Sir, thank you so much. But no, it's not the sprinkler system. I don't have a sprinkler system. It's the water that you turn off when they're going to work on the inside of your house. That you need to turn the water off.
Oh no, don't do.
That's the one.
Don't turn that off. Don't turn that off. And even with the foam covers on the faucets, I would say tonight, Monday night. Tomorrow night, Monday night, Tuesday night, I would probably still drip those outside faucets if you don't have the freeze misers on.
Yeah.
Even with the cups, I would probably still drip them because it is going to get down into the 20s all 3 of those nights.
Oh, thank you. So I'll just take the cup off and just run it a little bit then, huh?
Yeah, you can put the cup back on, and the water will just run right out of the cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And finally, I don't want to misunderstand you. As far as the inside pipes, can I just leave the doors open under the cabinet,
yes,
or do I really need to run the water?
No, as long as the heat is on in the house,
right.
As long as you have heat on in the house, and as long as you're keeping the house, say in the 60s, I don't think that's necessary at all. Not with this type of freeze.
But it also depends on how old your house is and how well your insulation is.
True.
I mean, Martin, as kids, the houses we grew up in weren't built the same. So our parents dripped all the faucets.
Right. And
I mean,
yeah, so that's the thing to keep in mind is how much insulation do you have on your exterior wall. The other thing is, where is your sink located? Is it located on an outside wall or is it located on an inside wall? All of the sinks,
if it's on an outside wall, drip it.
Might not be a bad idea. All of my faucets in my house are on an inside wall. So thankfully, we don't have that issue. But if you do, then yeah, dripping it a little bit's not a problem. Just, you don't have to run a heavy, steady stream. That's the thing I don't want people to be doing, is wasting water and costing themselves money when they don't have to. And with this type of freeze, you really don't have to. It's a drip. It's covering your pipes outside. It's putting a freeze miser on your outside spigots. Those are the things that you need to do.
Okay, thank you very much for clearing everything up for me. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jim. Thanks for calling this morning. I should also mention, when we're talking about the cold that's coming, your pets. We don't
Absolutely
talk a lot about that on this show, but I've seen some things on Facebook that I really love. It says, if you're going to leave your pets out tonight, be sure to stay out there with them. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. If you're going to leave your pets out in the cold where you wouldn't want to be, I think that maybe you should join them. And
hey, unless you have heated kennels.
Well, that's not leaving them out in the cold. If you have heated kennels, you've got a nice warm environment.
I was going to say, I got 2 boxers that are not coming in the house.
No,
but they have their kennels.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. These are folks that, and you hate to think this, but there are people that do. They'll put these pets outside and just let them freeze. And
I have to tell you, Martin,
freeze to death.
Oh yeah, I have to tell you, a lot of them, I have to believe, didn't do it on purpose. It was like out of sight, out of mind.
Maybe, yeah.
I have to believe
to
that.
think that they want to hurt the animal. I don't believe
Right.
that they intentionally want
Or that
to
they
hurt
didn't care enough about the animal. I believe they cared about the animal. They care about it, but they didn't even think about bringing the dog in.
Yeah. Well, you're a little more forgiving on that than I am. I don't think that there's an excuse for that. If you're going to leave your dog outside or your cat outside, make sure that they have some protection. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. I mean, yes, people have outside pets that they don't bring inside the house. I get that, but at least make sure that they have some kind of heat source or some kind of protection from the weather. And that's what I'm saying. So your plants also, Bob, I'm sure talked about this a lot more than we're going to talk about it. But if you have tender vegetation outside that you can relocate into the garage or inside the house, be a good time to do that sometime today or tomorrow morning at the latest.
Right. Because I think the high tomorrow is going to be 47, because when it starts moving in, it's going to just drop.
Yeah, and then tomorrow the weather's the temperature is going to continually drop throughout the day, and by tomorrow night I think we're going to be in the low 20s. And man, there's some areas of our country. I was looking at up in Chicago. It's going to get down into the negatives over the next day or so.
Yes, sir.
So
it's a humdinger of a cold spell. We're going to be actually they moved it up. They moved it up today. No, that's Dallas.
They think the problem's coming in today.
That's Dallas.
Oh, Dallas.
Never mind.
Yeah, whole different thing. Morning, Hank. Thanks for joining us this morning on Facebook Live. We appreciate you, brother.
Today, the high is 66. Tonight, it drops down to 32. Tomorrow, the high is 47. It drops to 27. Then 38, drop to 28. Then 39, drop to 20 on Tuesday night.
So Tuesday's going to be the really cold night. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, we've got some cold weather coming, at least for our neck of the woods. Those that are listening to us in other parts of the country are going, you bunch of amateurs. You don't know what cold weather is. But we for us, that's cold weather. And what we noticed coming back from Santa Fe immediately is, yes, it was much warmer here than it was in Santa Fe, but it was also damp here. And the damp cold is a way different cold than a dry cold. And you just don't realize it until you've experienced both of them. But I'm telling you, definitely is. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more to you on your phone calls, 210-599-5555. Or we're also going to talk about some more ways to winterize your home and get you ready for this cold weather we got coming in. When we come back on the Rockin' Home Show.
Hi, this is Bob Webster from my friends over at Fanix, and they want me to tell you about their first big event of the season, and it comes up on January 25th, 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be a really special thing. It's going to be all about fruit trees. The presenter is Dr. Larry Stein with the Texas AgriLife Extension Service, and Dr. Stein is very experienced, and, well, I guess he's probably one of the most knowledgeable people in the whole Forest Service. They're going to cover things like fruit trees, they're going to cover citrus, cover grapes, cover pretty much everything that you want to plant out in the orchard, and they'll talk to you about selection, they'll talk to you about pruning, they'll talk to you about what you need to do to protect the fruit, just everything you ever wanted to know about fruit trees, including citrus. That comes up on the 25th of this month over at Fanix on Home Green Road. It will be outside but undercover, so dress for the weather. If you want more information, just go to their website at fanicnursery.com, but put it on your calendar, January 25th at Fanix.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
This is Martin Bomba's Rockin' Home Show on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 1071.
All right, not the best version of this song.
No. I was going to say, man, you know.
Yeah, that sounds like it was recorded in a tin can.
Yeah.
But, and listen, no offense to Brian Johnson. I absolutely love Brian Johnson, but he's not Bon Scott.
No.
And by the way, if you are an AC/DC fan, and there's a lot of them out there, if you're an AC/DC fan, you're going to be really thrilled because they are going back on tour again. And, they're going to be back in the United States. I forgot where their first show is, but I think it's up in Michigan or somewhere like that. I don't know how many shows they're doing when they're here, but it's the Power Up Tour, AC/DC. My guess is it will be the last time you get to see this band. And if you get a chance, not going to sound as good as it did back in the 80s, but it's still AC/DC. So could be a lot of fun.
Well, for us, it might sound as good as it did back then.
No way.
It might for us because we actually listen a little different now.
What's true? We do pay a little more attention now. But yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes, it's probably going to sound great. If I get a chance, I am going to go check them out. Really, really looking forward to that. This next week, Debbie and I are heading to Key West for the Mile Zero Fest. And if you don't know about the Mile Zero Fest, if you're a Texas music fan, if you're a Red Dirt country fan, wow. What a lineup. It's going to be a lot of fun, and can't wait to go out there and check out some great music next week, get away from the cold a little bit, and just enjoy it. It's not going to be warm down there either, though. We've been watching the weather, and it keeps dropping. It's like, okay, it's going to be 75. Oh, nope, it's going to be 70. Oh, it's going to be 68. So hopefully that changes, but we'll see. It's,
Morning, Daniel.
Morning, Daniel. Hey, let's get back to those phone lines. 210-599-5555. 210-599-5555. Robert, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Appreciate your show. I've got it's called a Rainbird sprinkler system.
Yes, sir.
And it's got a box in the yard with two valves on it. And I've always just turned those valves off whenever, and put a towel over it, the box, underneath the lid. But you said that you had to drain it. I've never drained it. So how would I do that?
If you cut the water off to it, you need to drain and purge it. And typically that's done through pressurized air. You push pressurized air through the system after you turn the water off to it, and you push all of the water out of the system so you don't have pipes that are cracking. Usually in our area, it's not an issue because the pipes are deep enough, even if they're only 6-8 inches deep, they're deep enough to keep from really freezing up because we rarely get temperatures that are that cold for that long. You have to have, temperatures in the low 20s for a long period of time to really have to worry about that. Now, up in Santa Fe, we have to worry about that. Every year at the beginning of the season, the winter season, we have a crew come out and purge our system and empty it, and we don't use our sprinkler system until spring. Here, it's not quite the same way because we have a lot more above freezing temperatures than we do otherwise, and so I wouldn't worry too much about that. I really wouldn't.
What about where the heads come out of the ground, though? I mean, that's actually exposed.
It is. If you have raised heads, it is exposed, but you don't have any pressure on them. So it's not like the hose bibs that you have on the outside of your house. Those always have pressure. Whereas if your watering system, if your sprinkler system is not running, there's no pressure on those at all. So it's not typically an issue.
Okay. All right. Well, you got me thinking about it when you said you had to purge it. I'm like, I never purged it.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to do it, but I didn't mean to scare you, and Jim didn't mean to scare you. We have a lot of listeners that are also in colder parts of the country. That is more geared towards them. Here in San Antonio and South, not a real issue, even with a cold front like this.
We've only got 2 days coming that the high is sub 40.
Correct.
And it's still so every day the temperature is gonna get above freezing
every day.
So
yeah.
Right.
So, if you've got, let's say you've got a week worth of freezing temperatures, which is not uncommon up north, that can be what does the damage. Here, I don't think you're going to have a problem.
Okay. I appreciate the clarification.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Robert. Thanks for calling this morning. Appreciate you. So, Chris, our buddy,
I was
Chris
just
Glasgow
laughing about that.
is watching from Washington, D.C., and he says it's a bit nippy in D.C. I bet it is.
Yeah.
And it's getting ready to get a little bit nippier, too.
Yeah.
And he understands the stuff you have to do in really cold weather. It can be a drag. It can, and I get that because I've only shoveled snow a couple of times in my life. It's not something I would want to do for months on end. It really isn't. But hey, Chris, thanks for watching us, man. We appreciate you. It means a whole lot. Chris is an old friend from KTSA. We used to produce the show and lots of other shows on KTSA, and now he's doing the Sirius XM thing and has really done some good for himself. Good for him.
Yeah, he's got Chris got coming. Sunday, the high of 38 and a low of 20. Monday, high 24, low 10. Tuesday, high 23, low 11.
See, that's cold.
Wednesday, high 21, low 7.
Yeah, that's cold. That's too cold for me.
That's cold, man.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I really don't. Phone lines are open at 210-599-5555. Let's talk about a couple more tips for helping your house get through the freezing weather. Whether you're in the really bad stuff like Chris is, or you're in the mildly bad stuff like we are. Second one on the list that we're going down is sealing holes and cracks. You want to handle that one, bud?
Well, yeah. You over time you're going to get cracks in your caulking. It's just caulk is a maintenance issue. There's no way around it. It has to be maintained. If you've got that caulking that's dried out and flaky and coming loose, and you got gaps in the caulking, just get you a good, I definitely recommend a elastomeric caulk. Get you a good elastomeric caulk and go back in and caulk those joints. That keeps the air, the wind, the cold from getting in the wall. Because on those cracks, around windows, around doors, those cracks will allow the cold temps to get in the wall.
And although you don't have to caulk and recaulk every year, it should be part of your annual routine to go around and just check for gaps and laps in your caulk. Around pipes is a big one. A lot of people never seal around their pipes, and you just don't realize how much cold air infiltrates there if you don't do that. So
right.
Take a look at that.
And another thing this one says, Martin, is to purchase a can of great foam insulation or foam insulation such as great stuff.
Yeah.
Folks, you want to be real careful with that because there are certain ones of those that keep expanding. It doesn't just stop. Once it starts getting warm again, it's going to expand more, and it can warp windows, it can warp doors. I would get the foam that's specifically labeled window and door foam.
Or look for the words low expanding or low expansion.
Yep.
Those
yes.
are words to look for on those types of products. And
those are the ones that
specifically for
stop.
Around windows and doors.
Right. Those are the ones that stop.
Right.
Once they get to a certain expansion, they stop.
And if you can, try to get closed cell foam, not open cell foam, because that will also help you waterproof the area that you're doing as well. Another one to get to before we get to break, adding insulation to your home. Of course, adding insulation is a great idea. Preventing your pipes from freezing and keeping your house warmer. Adequate insulation is going to help you do both of those things. And this includes insulating your exterior walls. If your exterior walls are not fully and well insulated, be sure to check that out. Of course, that's not something you're going to do in a day, but it's something that you can start thinking about and looking at. Crawl spaces, or we don't have basements here, but crawl spaces and attics, the pipes themselves in crawl spaces. There are ways also to get your energy company to do an energy audit for you and evaluate your energy usage. And they'll recommend the necessary steps to bring the R value in the walls and ceilings up to advised levels for our region. So be sure to check that out and whenever you can. I mean, that's not something you're going to do in the next day, but certainly something that I advise doing over the next few months. And that way next year you have adequate and plenty of insulation in your home. I think we can get to one more, Jim.
Okay. Well, the next one says keep the water flowing. We've already been talking about that. They're recommending that if any of your indoor faucets are located on exterior walls, just like we said, and they aren't adequately insulated, set the faucets to a slow drip whenever temperatures dip well below freezing. This is usually only necessary during especially bitter cold spells.
Yeah, and of course for our region, that's what we're getting is a especially bitter cold spell coming in the next few days. So be sure to keep that in mind. Hey, Romero, I know you're on the line. We are getting up against a break here in the next couple of minutes, and I don't want to cut your time short. Definitely want you to have time to ask your question and get your answer. So if you'll hang on the line or call us back after the break, we will get to you at that point. We will take your calls, too, at 210-599-5555 when we come back from the break. But before we go to break, Jim, how do the folks get a hold of you during the week via email?
Via email, it's going to be jim@diamondjjac.com.
All right. And, of course, you can get to me at mbomba, that's MBOMBA, at windowworldtx.com. Love to hear from you. You guys stick around, call a friend or two, and tell them to join us in the second hour of the Rockin' Home Show when we return right here on KTSA.
I'm Emmitt Smith. Pro football and fatherhood have taught me you need the right equipment for what life throws your way, including an opioid emergency. I've lost teammates and loved ones to opioid poisoning. It's the leading cause of accidental death in the U.S. But now I have the power to save a life, and so do you. Lay, spray, stay. 3 words to help save someone in need. Lay the person on their back. Use Narcan nasal spray as directed to reverse the effects of an opioid emergency. Dial 911 and stay with them until emergency help arrives. Continue to administer additional doses as needed. And opioid poisoning can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. So learn the signs and symptoms of an opioid emergency and always be ready to rescue. Learn more at readytorescue.com.
Stay connected. KTSA San Antonio. FM 1071. Local, regional, national, worldwide. Breaking news happens here, and it happens. Just breaking news now.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. It's a race against the clock in Southern California. Thousands of firefighters spending the weekend trying to make more progress against the devastating fires before high winds are expected to return next week. ABC's Melissa Adon is in Altadena.
The long road to recovery as more and more Californians return to what is left of their communities amid lifting evacuation orders.
Doing a lot of ash cleanup. There's ash on the roof. There's ash in the driveway, all in the yard.
More than a week after the Eaton and Palisades fires broke out, firefighters making progress on the blazes that left 27 dead and more than a dozen still missing.
More than 82 million Americans are under cold weather alerts over the next few days. That includes Washington, D.C. That's led Monday's inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump to be moved inside the Capitol Rotunda. Not a problem for ardent Trump supporter Karen Kersey.
Doesn't matter how cold it is. I came here to support this inauguration, and I came to support my God.
But ABC's Mary Alice Park says
the Joint Congressional Inaugural Committee acknowledging the vast majority of ticketed guests will not be able to attend the ceremonies in person in the new location. No traditional parade down Pennsylvania Avenue. Instead, many festivities moved inside to the Capital One Arena.
The ban on TikTok in the U.S. set to take effect tomorrow. The app says it will go dark unless the Biden administration commits to not enforcing the ban that was upheld by the Supreme Court. It's an anxious time for people who use TikTok for business, like Michigan influencer Derek Kastenholz.
I'm not monetized on TikTok. I have more of a reach when I'm not monetized, but I do get brand deals. And I do reach just so many potential clients for my DJ business.
The Israel-Hamas ceasefire takes effect Sunday. You're listening to ABC News.
Struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns? Owe the IRS $10,000 or more? With the IRS ramping up enforcement, taxpayers across the country are turning to tax relief helpers. Call 800-885-0622 now. End IRS stress today. Stop collection efforts, wage garnishments, and sleepless nights. Tax relief helpers can help you or your business settle your tax debt quickly and affordably. Call the Tax Relief Helpers hotline at 800-885-0622. That's 800-885-0622. Start your relief today.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to getcash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. Getcash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to getcash.com. That's getcash.com.
The Wall Street Journal and New York Times have reported the possibility of large-scale immigration raids in multiple cities next week when the new Trump administration takes power. Some migrant communities in Chicago are concerned about what's ahead in the city's Little Village. This food vendor says of the possibility.
The economy is going to go down because there's not a lot of people that are going to be coming out to buy our products. And as well, we're not going to be able to come out because of the fear of the raids.
Florida jury found CNN defamed a U.S. Navy veteran who helped rescue endangered Afghans. Zachary Young claimed that CNN destroyed his business with a 2021 story about a black market of extracting Afghans. Jury awarded him $5 million in compensatory damages. CNN settled with Young before punitive damages can be ordered. The Menendez brothers, convicted of killing their parents in 1989, have been claiming they should get out of prison, but there's a delay.
Because of the ongoing wildfire situation here in L.A. County, District Attorney Nathan Hochman announcing the resentencing hearing for Lyle and Eric Menendez, who was set for January 30th and 31st, has been delayed until March 20th and 21st. The Menendez brothers argue they deserve to be let out of prison or given parole. Hochman, who was sworn in last month, has not decided if, like his predecessor in the DA's office, he will support their push for freedom. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
Struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns? Owe the IRS $10,000 or more? With the IRS ramping up enforcement, taxpayers across the country are turning to tax relief helpers. Call 800-885-0622 now. End IRS stress today. Stop collection efforts, wage garnishments, and sleepless nights. Tax relief helpers can help you or your business settle your tax debt quickly and affordably. Call the Tax Relief Helpers hotline at 800-885-0622. That's 800-885-0622. Start your relief today.
This is Martin Bomba's Rockin' Home Show on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 106.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the Rockin' Home Show on AM 550 FM 1071 KTSA, KTSA.com. And, of course, Facebook Live. Thanks to those joining us on Facebook Live this morning. We appreciate you being there and checking things out. We appreciate you following us and liking us on Facebook. Just go to Martin Bomba's Rockin' Home Show. Like us, follow us, watch us, and tell your friends about us. We would love that. Thank you so much for that. Phone lines are open at 210-599-5555. My name is Martin Bomba, and that's my buddy Jim Smith right there.
And we are here to help.
Let's get back to the phone lines. Romero's been hanging on through the break. Good morning, Romero. Welcome to the Rockin' Home Show.
Yes, good morning. I have a simple question regarding home builders. I had a home builder tell me that they charge a certain percentage when you hire them to build a home for you. For instance, he gave me an example. If a foundation costs, let's say, for instance, $50,000, he adds 20% for that. Is that a common practice?
The percentage, yes, it is a common practice. The percentage is what is negotiable and may or may not fluctuate. Some people build on a cost plus 10%, some plus 15%, some plus 20%, and some even higher than that. I like that way of doing business only because it gives you a clear picture of, what you're actually paying and how and why. Because and not necessarily the 20% part, but again, that is negotiable.
Right.
If you see the receipts, for instance, and and they tack an extra 15-20% on top of that, what they're doing is they're paying for their time, their effort, their overseeing, their responsibility, and that's why you hire a good home builder. So yes, to answer your question, that is normal. Cost plus factoring is normal, and it's just a matter of how much you feel comfortable paying over cost. Would you agree with that, Jim?
Okay.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter how they bid it. Everyone does business with a cost plus.
Right. Whether
you take
whether they say that or not,
Right. You take whatever the materials cost, whatever the labor costs, and you add a percentage for the company. But that's also
okay. So excuse me. So the percentage cost. Let's say we agree on the 15%. That does not or does include labor and material.
That should include labor and materials plus 15%.
Yeah.
Okay. Labor and materials plus 15%.
If you agree on cost plus 15, then whatever costs he incurs, whether it's materials, whether it's labor, anything he incurs, permits, everything, then you're going to pay 15% to him for doing or handling the work.
So, in other words, that 15% is supposed to cover the cost of his hiring the people,
yes,
and the materials, etc.
And his overhead, his
insurance,
his insurance. That's a big one. His insurance, his professionalism, his experience in building homes and supervising builders of homes. These are all things that you're paying for, and it's just a matter of negotiating between you and the builder as to what you feel is comfortable. Now,
so another question now. So if I go out and purchase my own flooring for the whole house, and I have the business where I purchased the flooring, have them install it, then he's out of the picture, correct?
Not necessarily. It's going to depend on what contract you signed.
Okay.
Simply because if he does a cost plus for you, and you use him for the slab, the framing, and the roof, and then all of a sudden you start using other contractors, then he's not going to be happy.
No, that's not typically the way that you would do it, because what is happening is, he's only getting a portion of the work whenever he planned on getting the entire job, and he factored his profit margin in based on the entire job. I'll give you an example. If we're installing 10 windows, we've got a standard pricing for whatever 10 windows would be, with all of the amenities that the customer wanted on a normal basis. Now, if somebody comes to us and is doing an apartment complex, for instance, and wants to get 300 windows or 400 windows or 1,000 windows, well, we price accordingly based on volume. And it's the same with a home builder. So if you are going to do that, now I'm not going to say that there aren't home builders that won't work with you like that, because there are some that, yes, you tell them, I want you to frame it up, I want you to pour the slab, I want you to frame it up, and I want you to dry it in, and then I'm going to do everything else. Then they can give you an accurate bid on just that work. But if you tell them that you want them to build the whole house, and you agree on a cost plus contract, unless you have specifically put things in that contract that you are planning on providing, then then no, they will be doing all of the work and providing all the materials. Now, you can have allowances. For instance, if you don't know exactly what you want for lighting fixtures, they can give you an amount of an allowance. You can go out and buy your own lighting fixtures, and you will get that much credited towards your bill. But if you go out and you buy fixtures that are double that, then you're going to be responsible for that other part of the cost. Does that make sense?
Sure. And so that would be the same as purchasing the appliances as well.
Correct. That would be anything. Appliances, that would be fixtures, that would be bathroom fixtures, toilets. I mean, just about anything could be included in that, but most often it's lighting fixtures or appliances that are the ones that the customers may want to choose themselves, or flooring. Flooring's another one. You know, if you have a particular tile that you want in a certain room, and you know exactly where you want to source it from, you have them put in a line item allowance for that, and then you get it, and then they credit you that allowance, and if you go over, then you pay the overage.
Right. Okay. I get it. That makes sense.
So hopefully that answered your question, Romero. I hope it did.
Yeah, it sure did.
Okay.
Yeah, it did, and I appreciate your time and the information. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Romero. We appreciate you listening and appreciate you calling this morning. And we encourage you to pick up a phone and call too if you have any home improvement questions at 210-599-5555. 210-599-5555. That's the number to get in on the home improvement conversation this morning. Let's go to. Do we have time to get to Hank?
I think so.
Yeah, let's get to him. Our friend Hank is on the line. Good morning, Hank. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, my brothers from a different mother. How y'all doing?
Doing fantastic.
Doing great, my brother. What is your news? I can't wait to hear this.
For the last month, I've been dealing with a cancer disease.
Yes, sir.
And I want to thank you both for your prayers and your wishes. And for the last month, I have not had to use my tech tube at all.
Oh man,
that is awesome, dude.
That's great news.
That is awesome.
I've been able to eat normally and drink normally, and I had a biopsy done on Wednesday on my lung because they thought it might have metastasized into my lung, and it came back benign, no cancer.
Oh,
awesome!
Man,
That's such great news,
God,
man.
Thank you for that, man. That
is such great news.
Wow.
Happy
for you, man.
I know I know it's a Rockin' Home show, and this isn't that, but I just want to thank you both for standing by me and being a friend.
Hey, that's what friends do, brother.
Brother, you stood by me. You came to the house and visited me when I couldn't talk. So no, I'm right here. And
keep being a fighter, Hank. That's the main thing.
That's it.
You keep being a fighter.
And keep your faith, brother. Keep your faith.
Yep. I've got 2 more chemo treatments, and then I'll be done with chemo. I've already finished radiation. I rang the bell for radiation.
I saw your post on that.
I reposted it. Yes, you're right.
And the first week in February, I'll be ringing the bell for chemo.
Awesome, man.
So love
praise
to hear
God.
That.
Praise
so
God.
To hear that, man. And hey, keep on fighting the good fight, brother. Thanks for calling this morning, Hank. We appreciate you, man. And if you're so inclined to keep Hank in your prayers too, please do. He's a good guy, hardworking man, and like anybody who's fighting a tough battle, he needs all the prayers he can get.
Over the years, he's done a lot of jobs for you and I both.
Yeah.
That we didn't want to do.
No, that's true. That is absolutely true. No, he's a good man. Hank's a good man. We do have to take a break, though, and when we come back, we'll get back to more of your phone calls at 210-599-5555. 210-599-5555. Let's talk about Apple Pest Control. Apple Pest Control is a fantastic family-owned company that was started in 1984 by Stan Goodson, and the Goodson family is still running it today. Absolutely love the service that they've given me and Debbie over the years. And I can tell you that they can help you with all of your pest control needs, all the way from termites down to ants, fleas, and roaches. Yep, they can take care of all of that. They can help you prevent them so you don't ever have a problem. That's the best time to start using pest control, is before you even have a problem. And you're only offered what you need, and not anything more. They don't try to sell you on anything. They answer the phone on Saturdays, and they'll start their services as early as 7 in the morning, and they go after 5 too, if that's more convenient for you. Be sure to call my friends at Apple Pest Control for all your pest control needs. And this time of year, you can certainly have a problem with rodents because they want to get in where it's warm just like we do. And if that happens, call Apple. They're the number one call. 210-695-8946. 210-695-8946. Online at applepestcontrol.com.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/radio and use code radio for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/radio and use code radio at checkout.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now it's our lowest price of the season on our top-selling i8 smart bed. Your best savings, plus free home delivery with any base. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This is Martin Bomba's Rockin' Home Show on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 107.
FM 1071 KTSA, KTSA.com, and of course Facebook Live. Thanks to those joining us on Facebook Live. We appreciate you being out there, and we certainly appreciate you watching and listening every Saturday. It makes our Saturday, I'll tell you that. A couple of questions on Facebook Live. A.K.A. Betty V, A.K.A. Betty V says, I've been in my home for 20 years, and I have a bathroom that that never gets heated like the rest of the house. What's the issue? What is the issue, Jim?
Air balance.
Yes.
It's probably it's air balance, and there's different ways you can balance that. You can increase the duct size to the room, or you can put in if they don't have them, you can put in balancing dampers to push more air from the other areas to that room. A lot of times, a lot of duct systems are installed with just the run. There's no damper or anything to move the air around. So some of the ducts in the system may get more air because of turns and bends in the ducts. There's less pressure going to that vent. So it's going to get more air. You have to go in and balance that air. Restrict the air to the ones that are getting the most, to push the air to the ones that are getting the less.
Well, there you go. Good answer. She had a second question that I want to answer on the air because I think it's important. She says, why is my spouse, let me get back to it. Hang on. Why is my spouse required to be home or present with me whenever Window World comes out to give me a quote? Number one, that is not a requirement of Window World. Now, that may be a requirement of other companies, and in fact, I know that it's a requirement of many other companies. It is not a requirement of Window World to have both spouses present. In fact, we go out very routinely and talk to either the husband or the wife, or at any given time, all the time. I mean, this happens every single day at Window World. And I realize that there are some companies that do require that. The reason that they require it, I will tell you, is because they know they have a better chance of selling the job when they're both there. That's the plain and simple truth about it. But it's also because Texas is a community property state, and if you're married and you both live in a house, you both have to be on the contract by legal terms. So those are the reasons. We don't feel the need to do that at Window World. Yet, do we ask, are both the husband and the wife going to be there? Yeah, we absolutely do. But we do not require that to set an appointment or to come out and give you a presentation. So I'm sorry if you were confused by that, Betty, but anytime you'd like to see us, we would love to come out and see you or your husband or both of you, either way.
Betty, I have to tell you, I worked for Martin for 11 years, minus 1 year for the stroke.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I worked for Martin for 11 years, folks, before I started Double Diamond J, air conditioning heating. But in that time, I can't tell you how many homeowners that the husband or wife was not there. The only thing they need to be aware of, and that may have been what they were told when they called the office, is both have to sign when you purchase. That's the only requirement. Now, if your husband is out of state, we can docu-sign him the contract. And
Right.
he can get it signed there, or you can. Now, I keep saying we.
Well, that's a real good example. For instance, we have a very large military community in our area, and there are many times whenever one or the other is deployed, they want to do the work, they want to get it done, but one of them is going to be out of the country for the next year, or 6 months or 8 months. There is no point in not going to see those folks because they need the service just like anybody else does, and there are ways to work around the signatures, and
that's it.
But she asked why is that, and I'm telling you the reason why there are some companies is because they're very high pressure. They absolutely want the sale before they leave because they know if they don't get the sale before they leave, they're not going to get the sale. And without both the husband and the spouse there, they're not going to get the sale typically on the first visit. So there we go.
Martin, when I worked for you, I had a good friend call me and say, Jim, I forgot you did Windows now. He said, my wife had already scheduled appointments with these companies, but we're going to go with you. And I said, wait. Still do the appointments. I want to see what they, what they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was one of them that he said that he actually literally had to tell that man to leave his home.
It's not, I mean, you and I have heard those stories lots and lots of times. We've heard those stories lots of times. And, all I can tell you is when we say that Window World does business differently, we mean that we do business differently. There's a reason that we revolutionized the home improvement industry because we went completely against the grain at a time when everybody was doing it one way. And
guess what Diamond Double J is fixing to do to the AC industry?
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it, brother. Let's get to another phone call if Raul is still up there. Raul, good morning. Welcome to the Rockin' Home Show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Dallas, but my Saturday mornings are in San Antonio.
Well, we appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Awesome. We appreciate it.
You guys are going to get even colder than we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had a spill a couple weeks ago, I'm thinking, and
it was just over a week ago. Martin, last Saturday, I drove up to Amarise.
Yeah.
After the show, and when I hit Dallas, North Dallas, there was still snow on the ground.
Wow.
So they had a spill last weekend.
Dallas was getting good snow when we weren't getting any in Santa Fe. That was the funny part.
Yep.
Yeah, 5 years ago, I got a sled from work as a bonus, and just as a reward gift kind of thing, and that thing has been put to good use.
Good deal.
Awesome. That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, the kind of snow you get in Dallas is the kind of snow I like. It's the kind of snow that comes, you enjoy it for a couple of days, and then it's gone. That's the best kind of snow.
Yeah. So, hey, my question, I called in a couple months ago to prepare my outdoor faucets, and we joked around about all the different names that they have, spigots and all this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I went ahead and I took your advice. I pulled out the stems and I replaced the washers at the end, and I went out and I bought my freeze misers, and one of them, well, actually, they were both leaking. Not at the at this time it wasn't cold weather. They were not leaking at the freeze miser. They were leaking at the faucet. when it's off, it's not leaking. But when I turned it on with the freeze miser, it would leak. There was a video on Freeze Miser that, hey, if you've got one of those backflow preventers,
I was going to ask exactly that.
Good.
If you have a backflow preventer, if you can't take that backflow preventer off, it's going to keep dripping.
Yep.
And so I replaced it, and sure enough, it's good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The other faucet, the other spigot, that one is a little different. I can't tell whether that backflow preventer that is it part of the faucet, or is it just
it can be
like
it can be they make faucets with the backflows made on them. They also make them where you can't unscrew it. Well, there is one more you can unscrew because it's a small Allen set screw.
It's got a set screw, but if you undo the set screw, then you can unscrew it.
Then, like look all the way around it. If there's a small hole there, just find a small Allen wrench that fits in there and locks in. Loosen that set screw, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Loosen that set screw, and then you can screw it off.
Okay, so if it's okay, but it's attached. Okay, so are you saying that if it's attached to the spout, it's not going to be a permanent thing? It's actually an add-on.
That's typical. Yes, if it's attached, if you see an additional that looks like the end of a hose that's screwed onto the end of the spout, that is typically removable. But as Jim said, there's usually a set screw that you have to unloosen. Otherwise, you'll never get the thing off, and you'll end up twisting off the spigot itself.
Right. Yep. So this one in particular is leaking differently. It's leaking at the handle where the screw,
easy fix,
attaches the handle.
Easy fix, brother. Open it up halfway. Okay. If it's leaking at that point, you got a drip or a leak. Take a crescent wrench, put it on that nut that's at the bottom of the stem. Hold the stem still and tighten that nut up. Just
gently.
Gently. You don't want to put major force on it. Just tighten it up until the drip stops. That is the packing seal. That's what's leaking, and typically it's a very easy fix. It loosens because over the years of opening the faucet and closing the faucet, the packing nut will loosen also. So occasionally you have to tighten that packing nut.
I see. That makes sense. Okay. Great. Last question, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
The faucets have that little flanger part that goes up against the brick.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I noticed on one faucet, it looks like some kind of gray thing was used with a putty knife to seal that up. On the other one, it looks kind of more like a foam, and it's cracked, and there's actually a hole where I could put my finger in there.
Get some elastomeric caulk and just caulk over the hole and put a layer of caulk on top of that foam. You should be fine.
What kind of caulk is that again?
Elastomeric. I have to slow down to get the.
It's a siliconized acrylic caulk, so it's got the paintable qualities of an acrylic, and it's got the elastic capabilities of a silicone caulk. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. It stays pliable and flexible, and it gives you the best seal.
Okay, and how often should I be checking those things?
Check it every year, but you'll probably I'd check it every year, but you only will probably have to recaulk it once every 4 or 5 years.
Should I remove that crackling one that's there?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, you were going to say something? Oh.
No, that's all we got, Raul. Thanks for calling, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate you, brother. Let's get to Sally before. Well, no, we got to get to break. We are at break time, so let's take a break. We'll get to Sally as soon as we come back. We'll get your calls too at 210-599-5555. Family owned and operated since 1947. Window World in Brickstone is here to serve you. In San Antonio, the Hill Country, Corpus Christi, the Coastal Bend, we have showrooms in New Braunfels, San Antonio, and Corpus Christi. And we are certainly proud to be the number one choice when it comes to windows, siding, doors, and more in our areas. You're never going to find a better quality for quality value than you do at Window World. We have manufacturer direct volume pricing on our windows. We have the largest network of window and siding installers in the entire country, over 215 locations, and partners that we partner with that make some of the best building products that you're going to find anywhere, from easy care, virtually maintenance-free insulated siding systems, to our beautiful award-winning windows and doors, to something that's proprietary to us. It's our Brickstone product. It's a full masonry that we can make look like any kind of stone or brick. That's absolutely gorgeous, and you'll absolutely be blown away by Brickstone if you're not familiar with it. It's something that we've been doing now for over 75 years, and something that we love and are very proud of. If you want the look of full masonry without all of the weight, even if you live in a pier and beam home, a manufactured home, slab foundation, business, residence, doesn't matter. We'd love to talk to you about Brickstone, as well as beautiful stucco options and so much more. Give us a call at Window World. We would love to talk to you about your home improvement project and get you started on that home improvement journey today. Go to windowworldtx.com, windowworldtx.com. And of course, if you need financing, absolutely, we make it affordable for you. 15 months, zero down, zero interest financing available right now with approved credit, as well as some great 120-month financing at an unbelievable 6.99%. So if you want to make your project this year affordable, you can do it with Window World. WindowWorldTX.com. WindowWorldTX.com. Window World, improving homes, changing lives.
Hi, this is Bob Webster from my friends at Wild Birds Unlimited. For years, I've been telling you what a wonderful place Wild Birds Unlimited is out there on Northwest Military at Huebner Road. Well, they're still doing well, but the good news is they have a new location in Bernie as well. All you folks in the Hill Country won't have to drive all the way into San Antonio to find the wonderful service, the great knowledge, and all the wonderful products at Wild Birds Unlimited. Kyle and his staff out there have just virtually exactly the same thing they have in town, and they would love to have you come by. They're way out on North Main Street, north edge of Bernie, right there at Market Street. It's right next door to the 28 Songs Brew House and Kitchen, if you know where that is. Remember, they've got the same great feeders, the same great feed. They've got all of the things you need for birding and so much more. Wonderful, wonderful assortment of gifts out there. Carrying on the tradition Wild Birds Unlimited always has had. 2 locations to serve you now. Wild Birds Unlimited.
This is Martin Bomba's Rockin' Home Show on News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 1.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the Rockin' Home Show. I'm Martin Bomba. That's Jim Smith right over there.
And we are here to help.
And I want to let you know, coming up a little bit later on this morning, our friend Louis Sirianni and the KTSA Automotive Show hits the air about 11:05. He's going to be here to answer all of your automotive questions. And then later on this afternoon, what?
The master of the muffler.
The master, okay. And then later on this afternoon, we've got Mike and Holly Hermes with the What's It Worth show, talking all things real estate, one of my favorite subjects in the world, and they talk about it every Saturday afternoon. So be sure to check that out. Let's get back to the phone lines, 210-599-5555. Good morning, Sally. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for being there. We really enjoy your program.
Well, thank you.
And your guests.
Well,
both you and Jim are irreplaceable, and the guests today have been very interesting.
Well, thank you.
I have a bunch of questions because I don't call very often, but primarily today I wanted to ask you, when is it required by the city to have a permit for doing repairs?
Most interior repairs do not require a permit. Most. Electrical will require a permit, and some heavy plumbing will require a permit. But if it's changing out a faucet...
Air conditioning will require a permit.
Air conditioning will require a permit if it's something major, yes.
If you're...
No, a roof's supposed to have a permit?
Yes. Roofing is permitted, yes.
Well, I live in a condominium, and I'm a homeowner, so I have responsibility for the association's doings also. I don't think we've ever pulled a permit on doing a roof. And I need, because I've lived here for almost 40 years now, 35 I think it is, basically do everything on the interior. And that would include things like changing the box on the electric.
That will definitely require a permit.
And as far as the roofing permits go, you may have not even been aware that the permits are being pulled. Sometimes it's just built into the price of the roofing company's charges, and they
any
pull the
reputable
permit.
roofing company should be
Well, let
pulling
me
this
ask
permit.
you, when a permit is pulled, does that mean that there will be a city inspector to come out to look at the job afterwards?
Yes, but please bear in mind, if that inspector is extremely busy, he might drive by,
Do a
look
visual
up,
inspection,
and do the visual to make sure there's no nail pops or anything, and take his phone, zoom in a little bit, and pass the roof or fail it.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I don't want to burst your bubble, but I've been involved with the board of directors enough to say I do not believe we've ever pulled a permit on the roof.
Well,
and you're in San Antonio?
Roofing jobs.
Are you in San
We've
Antonio
had
proper?
lots-
Are you in San
we've had
Antonio
lots of
proper?
roof leaks. I'm sorry?
Are you in San Antonio proper in the city limits?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, then your roofing company should have pulled permits. That's
Yes.
all I can tell you. I can't tell you
I
whether they did or they
understand, but
didn't.
when we've had these big opportunities for everybody to get a new roof, and there are lots of people who come from out of town, our company came from Dallas, I don't think it was done, and it wasn't flashed properly, and I don't think that, I think we had a fly-by-night.
Well, it's one of the reasons that I don't recommend, and certainly a condo is a little different situation, but some of the same rules apply. I recommend hiring a local company when it comes to roofing, because when you have major storm events like hail damage and things of that nature, you have everybody and their uncle coming in, becoming a roofing company. Some of them are legitimate. I'm not meaning to disparage all of them, because some of them are legit roofing companies that just, go around the country and chase storms. But some of them are not. And if they're
I
not...
remember when these people came, that your program, and I think it was you, had a roofing company that was willing to oversee the job. And that would have been awesome. I told them about it at the time. At the time, I was not on the board. And I'm wondering if it's ever appropriate to ask to hire a general contractor just to oversee, like when I refurbish the condo.
Absolutely.
I would absolutely recommend that, and I've got a great person to recommend to you.
Because he's going to take care of all the permitting. He's going to make sure, because it's his reputation, he's going to make sure it's done right. You might hire a sub to come in and replace all the faucets and the fixtures. That sub may, if he's working for you, he can decide, okay, can I get by without pulling a permit on this one? If he's working for a general, the general, by his license, requires him to get the permits.
And it's what you were talking about earlier with someone, is that you have to know what they've done.
Exactly.
That's why checking the background of these companies and the longevity of these companies and how much of this type of work they've done is important. And we recommend that no matter what contractor, what type of contractor you're getting, but especially when it comes to things that are very major, heavy plumbing, heavy electric, roofing. Those are all, things that you don't want to chance being done poorly.
And one of the biggest clues you can get is when a contractor pulls up to give you a quote, is it Texas plates on their vehicle?
That's a real good tell right
there. It really is. Because after the storms that we've had in past years, you could drive around and see license plates on roofing trucks, on plumbing trucks, on glass companies, license plates from Louisiana, from Illinois. I mean, they were storm chasers.
You name it. So, yeah, you want to be able to count on and find the person that did the work afterwards to ask them things like, did you pull a permit? I mean, you should know that.
Flash it
you
right?
should know that in advance. But if they didn't, you want to be able to hold their feet to the fire and say, look, if I go to sell this, an inspector inspects this, and they find out that there was not a permit pulled on that roof, it could affect the sale, and you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
You don't want to. That's not when you want to find out.
Performance of the job.
Oh yes,
absolutely. Something you have no idea about until it's too late. So that's why it's really important to hire the right people. Make sure that they're licensed with the city of San Antonio if they're working in the city of San Antonio, and make sure that they're pulling permits. If somebody is willing to do a job and not pull a permit, I'm a little skeptical.
May I suggest, you know how you sometimes do the top 5 or the top 10, sometimes it's construction and sometimes it's music.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe sometime you could do something about permitting.
Sure.
And choosing contractors, just what we've been discussing.
You know what? That will be a near future discussion on one of these shows. So please stay tuned, okay?
Now, may I ask another question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We got time for one more.
I want to know about Jim's business. Jim, are you a general contractor? Are you doing just HVAC?
Just HVAC, ma'am. Not a general.
But I've got
HVAC,
a good
appliances.
GC to recommend to you if you need one.
Right.
And the name of the company?
For mine or the recommendation for a general?
Jim.
It is Diamond Double J Air Conditioning and Heating.
I hadn't been listening for a while. I've listened to you guys for probably as long as you've been on the air, but I missed for a year or so, and I'm so glad to know that you're in business, and I wish you were a general contractor. That information is always so detailed and so specific and so helpful.
Well,
yes, ma'am. Well, keep it in mind that I can do the same thing with the AC.
Okay, I have indeed a need for that, and I want to integrate it into looking at the insulation also.
Okay. I can do both.
All right, Sally.
And your ductwork.
And if you'd like the name of that I'm sorry, if you'd like to get the name of that GC, just drop either Jim or myself an email, and we'll be happy to share that information with you.
Thank you so much.
You're sure welcome, Sally. Have a great weekend. Thanks for calling. What a great call. What a great call.
I'm telling you.
Thanks, Sally.
For both of us.
Yeah. Ruben and Emilio, don't go anywhere. We will get to you as soon as we come back from the break, but we do have to take a quick break, take care of some business, and we'll be right back on the Rockin' Home Show.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer. How many of you remember the Buttercrust Bakery on Broadway? We took field trips there from Carroll Bell Elementary and learned about assembly line production. Everyone there had a different job with a common goal. Robin Hopp is here with Big State Financial. There are 3 financial stages similar to that assembly line: accumulation, preservation, and distribution. We will help you with a retirement income plan that you can never outlive. Call me 210-373-6000 or go to my website, bigstatefinancial.com.
This is Martin Bomba's Rockin' Home Show on News Talk 550 KTSA and
Yes. The only. I mean, there are a couple that would come close to him. I think maybe Sticks. Cheap Trick is right up there. I mean, But yeah, the bad boys from Boston, whew, loved them, still do. Let's get to the phone lines. We're going to try to get both of these calls in here before we get to break. Let's go to Ruben. Ruben, good morning. Welcome to the Rockin' Home Show.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I got a question about AC. I'm planning to build around a 1,400 square foot house, all rock, and should we try and put mini splits or central air? Now, this place is out in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone service. It's just a weekend place. So what would you recommend?
If it's just a weekend place, you'll save a lot of money by going central. The mini splits are going to cost you more because you're going to want to put an evaporator in each area of the home. Then the mini split is a little bit more expensive, or a lot more expensive to install. However, it's very efficient if it's the home you live in. If the home is constantly occupied.
Okay, great. Yeah, because we might spend a week out there, but that's about it.
Where's the home at?
Outside of Uvalde. I'm about 30 miles past Uvalde, going towards Campwood.
Have you already gone to plan stage?
We're just drawing plans right now. I've got a builder that I think I want to go with, about the only one that'll go way out there. And they were talking about AC, but I've heard a lot of people talk about mini splits, so I just wanted to make sure.
Well, shoot me an email at jim@diamondjjac.com. Shoot me the plans when you go to plan, and I can do more and have more of a insight if I see the plans.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
All right. Hey, congratulations on the
thank
new
you
house,
very much.
Ruben.
Y'all
That's
have a
pretty
great
cool.
weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Ruben. That's always exciting planning.
Stay
a new
warm
house.
next week.
Ooh,
Stay
yeah,
warm.
man. Everybody stay warm next week. Let's get Emilio in here before we get out.
We lost Emilio.
Is Emilio okay? He's out. Well, then let's go ahead and talk about a few more of these winterization solutions that we have to help you get through this cold snap that we've got coming. The next one, go ahead.
Are we up on a break?
No, we're going to be at the top of the hour here in just a bit. Why?
No, I thought we missed one.
Oh, no. We took the break.
My fault. My bad.
Hey, listen, here's another one. Keep the water shut off accessible. During freezing bouts and spells, if you have a water line that ever freezes or bursts, God forbid, you need to shut the water off immediately. If you've got stuff blocking access to your main water shutoff valve, rearrange your area in your garage or wherever that cutoff is that you can easily access the valve in the event of a plumbing emergency. And then make sure that the shutoff valve is in good working order. That's another one. Turning the valve handle all the way clockwise should shut all the water off. If the valve is rusted open or if it only closes partially, be a good time to replace the shutoff valve. And that is a job for a professional plumber. It's not something I recommend you do yourself. Go a step further and make sure that everyone in your house knows where that shutoff valve is. That's a great idea. And know where it's located, how to turn it off. And the shutoff valve in our area, the shutoff valves are typically located at the water meter. So if you have a water meter shutoff valve, that's the next one is locate your water meter. And if there is a tool that's required to turn off your water, make sure you have one of those tools. Very easy to get at any big box store. Usually comes on a little extension, and it simply slips down like a C over the cutoff, and it allows you to easily turn and turn off. Can you do it with a wrench? Yes, you can, but it's much easier if you have a tool.
Yes.
So there also may be regulations against shutting the water off yourself. In our area, there's really no such regulation that I'm aware of unless you were messing with their equipment. If it's the shutoff that's on your side, you can shut it off.
Typically, if you're in an area that requires that you can't shut it off, that's when you see the shutoff valves on the side of the house.
Right.
Just before the water enters the house. That way you still have a main shutoff. But there are some municipalities that say you can't shut it off at the meter.
And even here in our area, you will find newer houses that are built with shutoffs inside the house for individual areas of the house as well. So if you have a particular leak in one area, you can shut that off without shutting off the entire house. So be familiar with that in your home if you have something like that. What's the next one?
Keep the garage doors closed. Yeah, that should be, I would think, a no-brainer.
Is that a common sensor?
I think so.
Oh, let's see. It's 20 degrees outside. I think it's a good time to open my garage door.
Yeah. Open it up, put the screen at the bottom to get some airflow. If your garage is attached to the home, minimize the time your garage door is open. This will help keep cold air out of your house and protect plumbing fixtures in or around the garage.
Yes. I was going to say something rude, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say it. And if you needed that advice, here's your sign. There we go.
Here's your sign.
Hey, gutters. This is a big one. Especially if we have freezing precipitation, gutters increase your full gutters that are filled with debris. Increase your chance of having ice form on your roof, and you definitely don't want that in an area where we're not used to that. It can also fill up and weigh down your gutters and dislodge them from your house. So be sure to set aside some time, clean your gutters out before the freezing temperatures get here. And if you need them, we've said this lots of times, gutter screens can help prevent leaves from clogging your gutters. And if you need something like that, please call Window World. We offer a fantastic gutter protection system. Next one, Jim.
Next one, I was just going to say with the gutters, I had in Snowmageddon, 3 years ago, I lost a gutter because it filled with ice and just fell off the house.
And that can happen.
Yeah.
It gets very heavy and very fast, and there it goes.
Check your attic ventilation, okay? Proper attic ventilation is vital to preventing ice dams on your roof. Inspect your attic and make sure there is no insulation blocking your soffits or attic vents. The free airflow in your attic space will prevent warm air from melting the snow on the roof, where it can run down and refreeze at the roof edges.
Good advice. Again, probably not going to get quite that bad here, but if you're listening up in our northern regions like Dallas or further north, those are places where you really could see stuff like this. Maintaining your thermostat. This is a big one. Make sure that you're able to keep your thermostat running continuously. Be sure to keep spare batteries on hand, and sometimes it's the very small details that can really save the day. So be sure to keep your heat running over the course of these weather events like this. Next one.
Prepare for vacation, huh?
This one's pretty good too. If you happen to be leaving your home for an extended period of time if you are leaving your house for an extended period of time when cold weather's coming, consider shutting off the water to your house and draining your plumbing system so you don't have to worry about freezing pipes while you're gone. There's a lot of people, myself included, that are wanting to get into a little bit warmer area while this cold stuff is going on, and you don't want a bad cold weather emergency to happen while you're out of town. There are a variety of freeze alarms that you can purchase for your home that can monitor the temperature in your home, send you a text message or email alerting you if the temperatures fall to dangerous levels. That's very good stuff to have. If you happen to be a snowbird that leaves your northern home for a warmer climate, lots of people come down to the Gulf Coast over the Christmas and winter time from up north. There's a great thing to do to have your monitoring and it's really indispensable insurance for you to keep your peace of mind. Costs can range from $50 to several $100s, but man, I'll tell you, that is worth the investment. And make sure that your homeowner's policy is up to date and has good coverage for the type of damage that can be incurred by freezing temperatures. And the last one.
Keep your appliances up to date. Old appliances can be a sinkhole for energy. Yes, we know that. And air conditioning and heating is an appliance. Keeping your appliances like furnace, portable space heater, and electric wall heaters up to date will increase your home's efficiency and make it much easier to stay warm without breaking the bank.
And also make sure to clean the filters on your furnace and your space heaters. And before the cold weather sets in, it also helps increase the efficiency.
You don't have to just clean or change the filter on the AC. You got to change the filter when you're using the heating as well.
That's right. It still is circulating dust and dirt through the air, and you want to be sure to have something that takes that out. So those are some great tips for helping you get through the next few days in the cold weather that we have coming, and especially if you're in some cold areas like the hill country or up north or in other listening areas that we cover that we have regular listeners in. So stay warm, and again, I want to reiterate: wrapping your pipes, dripping your water faucets, bringing in your pets, or making sure your pets have a warm, heated area outside, and bringing in your plants. All of these are very important things to do before the cold weather sets in. Jim, unfortunately, I don't think we have time to get to another caller.
Edwin's talking to him right now.
Yeah. Again, coming up later on, we've got Louis Sirianni at 11:05. We got Mike and Holly Hermes at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Be sure to stick around for them. Next week will be a best of show for our show. So if you're listening next week, don't try to call in. It's going to be a best of. And Jim, how do we get a hold of you during the week?
You get a hold of me at Jim at Diamond Double J. That's Diamond JJAC.com.
And you can drop me a line at mbomba, that's MBOMBA, at windowworldtx.com. mbomba at windowworldtx.com. That's always the best way to get a hold of me and to get a hold of Jim. For us to respond to you. Typically within 72 hours, you're going to get an email back from us with answers to your questions or just a response. Hey, listen, want to wish everybody peace and love. Peace and love. Go out there, spread some kindness, make the world a better place, and we'll see you next time on the Rockin' Home Show.